then you are not required to wait for your desires to manifest before you feel their reality. The secret is to act as if it is already done, to embody the state of the wish fulfilled. The world around you is not cause, it is effect. The cause lies within you, in the imaginal act, in the assumption that what you desire is already yours. You must learn to live in the end, not in hope, not in longing, but in fulfillment. You are not to beg for what is already within your grasp. You are to claim it, assume it, and feel it into being. When you wake in the morning, move as though your desires have already come to pass. Walk with the posture of fulfillment. Speak with the confidence of answered prayer. Give thanks not for what will come, but for what already is in the unseen. The imagination is the doorway. What you imagine with feeling and persist in will harden into fact. You do not wait for evidence. Your inner world must lead. If you desire abundance, do not think in terms of lack. Think from wealth. How would you feel if you were already prosperous? What would you wear? How would you speak? Whom would you associate with? Let your inner conversations be filled with the confidence of one who already has. If you seek love, become the embodiment of it. Feel cherished, valued, adored now, not when someone enters your life, but now. Because that feeling is the signal, and the signal attracts its reflection. To act as if is not to pretend. It is not make-believe, it is creation. Creation begins in the unseen. The seed must first be planted in the invisible soil of the imagination. When you feel it real, persistently and faithfully, the outer world conforms. This is law. You are not at the mercy of circumstance. You are the operant power. The feeling is the secret, not just any feeling, but the feeling of the wish fulfilled. Assume the role. Play the part. Put on the cloak of your desire and wear it inwardly until it becomes second nature. The world cannot help but reflect what you are conscious of being. Do not be swayed by appearances. Appearances are echoes of old thoughts. They are shadows. You are not the shadow, you are the light that casts it. When doubt comes, return to the feeling. Return to the end. Do not worry about the how. The how is not yours to know. Your task is to dwell in the end with such conviction that nothing can shake you. The world will move, people will change, opportunities will arise, not by force, but by the invisible law that mirrors consciousness. All things follow the assumption. So if you would change your life, change the way you see yourself, change the way you feel about what is already yours, and carry yourself not with need, but with knowing. To truly live in the end is to realize that your desires are not something you must wait for, something that must eventually materialize through hard work or struggle. The end is not a distant goal. It is a state of being that exists right now, in this moment. Living in the end means embodying the feeling and consciousness of having already achieved what you desire. It's a subtle yet profound shift in perspective, moving away from the idea that your desires are something to be attained and toward the realization that they are already present within you, waiting to be fully recognized. Imagine that you have already received what you've been asking for, whether it's financial abundance, a loving relationship, or personal success. How would you feel in this moment? What would you think? How would you carry yourself? These are the questions you must begin to ask yourself, because the key to living in the end is to begin living as if that desire has already been fulfilled. In a world that constantly urges you to strive and struggle, it can be difficult to grasp this idea. We're conditioned to think that fulfillment comes after a long journey, after facing challenges, and after reaching some external measure of success. But this is not how the universe operates. The universe responds to the state of being you embody. If you are constantly focused on the lack of what you desire, you remain in a state of absence. The universe, in turn, reflects this absence, continually reinforcing the idea that your desire is something out of reach. Living in the end is about rejecting the feeling of lack and instead living in the fullness of what you already possess. The moment you shift your perception from "I will have this" to "I already have this," everything changes. Your actions, your thoughts, and even the energy you radiate become aligned with the fulfillment of your desires. You stop living in anticipation and start living in gratitude, not for something that might happen, but for something that is already a part of your experience. This state of living in the end involves fully immersing yourself in the feeling of fulfillment. If you desire financial abundance, for example, don't focus on the steps you think you need to take to get there or on the number of hours you need to work. Instead, focus on the feeling of already being abundant. What would you do if you were already financially free? How would you feel walking into a store or paying for something with ease and joy? Let yourself imagine this scenario vividly. Feel it with every fiber of your being. The more real this feeling becomes, the more the universe will begin to rearrange itself to reflect that internal reality. When you live in the end, you are not striving to reach something that is out of reach. You are assuming the role of the person who already has it. You stop measuring your life against a future possibility and start aligning your thoughts and actions with the present reality of your fulfilled desire. This is not about wishful thinking or pretending. It is about creating the conditions for your desires to manifest by living as though they already exist. You act, speak, and think as if everything you desire is already part of your life. The key to living in the end is to constantly and consistently maintain this mental and emotional state. It requires discipline, patience, and a deep trust in the process. You will encounter moments of doubt, and the world around you may not immediately reflect your internal state. This is where many people falter. They assume that because they don't see immediate results, they must have done something wrong, or that their desires are not meant for them. But this is not the case. The universe is not limited by time or space. Just because you don't see your desires immediately manifested doesn't mean they are not already on their way. To truly live in the end, you must be unwavering in your assumption that what you desire is already yours. It's about holding that inner state of fulfillment regardless of external appearances. When doubt arises, you return to the feeling of already having your desire. When uncertainty creeps in, you choose to stay grounded in the knowing that it is done. This unwavering confidence, this unshakable belief, is what aligns you with the power of creation. It is what allows the universe to rearrange itself to reflect your inner state. Living in the end is not an act of waiting for something to happen. It is the act of making the decision to live as though what you desire has already been fulfilled. It's an internal shift that precedes any external change. The world around you will begin to change as you change internally. Your job is not to figure out how or when your desire will manifest. Your job is to live in the knowing that it already has. The beauty of living in the end is that it frees you from the anxiety and frustration of striving. You no longer have to chase after what you want because you already possess it internally. This shift in perception is powerful because it allows you to detach from the outcome and focus instead on the present moment. You become the embodiment of your desires, not because you are waiting for them to arrive, but because you are already living them. This is the magic of living in the end. It eliminates the distance between you and your desires. The gap between where you are and where you want to be is closed when you realize that the end is not a distant place. It is right here, right now, within you. The moment you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, you step into that end, and the world responds in kind. Living in the end also allows you to detach from the limiting beliefs that have kept you from fully embracing your desires. The belief that you must earn your desires through hard work or suffering is a false narrative that perpetuates the illusion of separation between you and what you want. When you live in the end, you begin to understand that you are not separate from your desires, you are one with them. There is no need to struggle or strive to attain something that is already part of your being. When you truly begin to live in the end, your desires will no longer seem like far-off goals to be reached in the future. They will feel like an integral part of who you are. You will not be waiting for the world to change to reflect your desires. You will be living in the world as if those desires have already materialized. And in doing so, you will find that everything around you begins to shift in response to your inner state. The people, the opportunities, the circumstances, they all begin to align with the assumption that you have already received what you desire. Living in the end is not about pretending or wishing. It is about embodying the truth of your desires, about recognizing that you already possess what you seek. When you assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled and remain in that state, you open the door for the universe to bring your desires into manifestation. This is the power of living in the end, and it is the key to unlocking the abundant life that awaits you. The imagination is the most powerful tool at your disposal. It is through your imagination that you create, shape, and mold your reality. The world around you, the conditions and circumstances of your life, are not random or accidental. They are the direct result of the inner world of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. The imagination, when used consciously, holds the power to change your life in profound ways. It is not just a fanciful tool for daydreams or escape. It is the creative power that shapes the world you experience. When you understand the creative potential of your imagination, you begin to realize that what you see in the external world is merely a reflection of the inner world of your thoughts and beliefs. Everything in your life, from your relationships to your finances, your health to your career, is a manifestation of what you have imagined and assumed to be true. The events, people, and circumstances in your life are not independent of your inner world. They are effects that mirror your inner state. The power of the imagination lies in its ability to shape your reality by first changing your inner state. If you want to experience abundance, for example, you must first imagine abundance. If you want love, you must first imagine love. Your imagination is the seed from which all things grow. What you plant in your mind's eye will eventually sprout into your physical world. The images, emotions, and scenarios that you entertain in your mind are like blueprints for the future. If you dwell on lack, limitation, or struggle, these will be the circumstances that manifest. If you choose to imagine success, abundance, and fulfillment, these will become the dominant experiences in your life. To use your imagination to create your reality, you must first begin by vividly imagining the end result of your desires. The end result is the state of having already received what you desire. You must see it clearly in your mind's eye and feel it in your heart as if it is already a part of your experience. The more real you can make this inner vision, the more power it will have to create your outer world. You do not need to know how your desires will come to pass. The how is not your concern. Your only task is to live in the end, to feel the fulfillment of your desires as though they are already here. The imagination is not bound by time or space. It is limitless. You can imagine anything at any time, regardless of the conditions around you. If your current circumstances are far from what you desire, do not let them dictate your imagination. The power of your imagination is not limited by your current reality. It transcends it. In fact, your current circumstances are simply the result of past imaginations. If you want to change your reality, you must begin by changing the images and feelings you entertain in your mind. The act of imagining your desires is a powerful form of prayer. It is a way of aligning yourself with the creative power of the universe. The universe does not respond to your desires based on your outer actions or circumstances. It responds to your inner state. the way you think and feel about your desires, and the beliefs you hold about your ability to receive them will determine whether they manifest. If you imagine yourself as worthy, deserving, and capable of having what you desire, the universe will reflect that back to you. If you imagine yourself as unworthy, undeserving, or incapable, the universe will also reflect those beliefs. Your imagination is the bridge between your inner world and the outer world. It is the link between what is unseen and what is seen. When you imagine your desires vividly and with feeling, you are sending a signal to the universe that you are ready to receive. This signal is powerful, and it is the key to unlocking the flow of abundance, love, and opportunity into your life. The more you can imagine your desires in detail, the more quickly and easily they will materialize. The feeling that accompanies the imagination is just as important as the image itself. It is the feeling of already having what you desire that activates the creative process. The feeling is the spark that brings the image to life. If you imagine something without feeling it deeply, you are not fully engaging your creative power. The feeling of the wish fulfilled is what aligns you with your desire and brings it into being. Your imagination is also a powerful tool for overcoming obstacles and challenges. If you are faced with a difficult situation or a problem that seems insurmountable, you can use your imagination to see the solution, to visualize yourself overcoming the challenge with ease and grace. This does not mean ignoring the problem or pretending it doesn't exist. Rather, it means shifting your focus from the problem to the solution. When you focus on the end result, the successful resolution of the problem, you align yourself with the energy of success, and the universe will conspire to bring that solution into your experience. The imagination is also a tool for transforming your self-concept. If you see yourself as unsuccessful, unloved, or unworthy, you are likely to manifest experiences that reinforce those beliefs. However, if you use your imagination to see yourself as successful, confident, and deserving of all the good life has to offer, you will begin to attract experiences that match that self-image. The images you hold of yourself in your mind's eye will shape your actions, your decisions, and your interactions with the world. If you imagine yourself as a confident, capable person who achieves their goals with ease, you will naturally begin to act in ways that reflect that image, and the world will respond accordingly. The imagination is a tool of great power, and it must be used consciously. It is not something to be taken lightly or used in a haphazard way. Your thoughts and feelings are constantly creating, whether you are aware of it or not. If you are not intentionally using your imagination to create your desired reality, you are allowing your mind to wander and create by default. This is where many people fall into the trap of creating unintended circumstances. They imagine lack, limitation, or failure, and these images become the dominant experiences in their lives. To harness the full power of your imagination, you must become the master of your thoughts and emotions. You must be disciplined in your imagination, consistently choosing to focus on the images and feelings that align with your desires. You must trust the process and know that your imagination, when used correctly, will bring forth the reality you desire. The power of imagination is limitless. It is the key to transforming your inner world and, in turn, your outer world. By imagining your desires with clarity and feeling, you are aligning yourself with the creative forces of the universe. When you use your imagination intentionally and consistently, you begin to shape your reality in ways you never thought possible. The world around you is not fixed. It is a reflection of your inner world, and the imagination is the tool that shapes it. When you embody the feeling of already having what you desire, you are not just wishing or hoping that your dreams will come true. You are fully assuming the reality of your desires as though they have already materialized in your experience. This shift from desire to fulfillment is where the true power of manifestation lies. It is not enough to simply want something. You must embody the consciousness of having it now. The power of manifestation comes from aligning your inner state with the external reality you wish to experience. The state of fulfillment is not a future event. It is a present state of mind and feeling. When you act as though you already have what you desire, your thoughts, emotions, and actions begin to harmonize with that reality. The universe responds to the vibration you emit, and the feeling of fulfillment is a powerful vibrational frequency that draws your desires closer to you. The process of manifestation is not about forcing things to happen, but about creating the inner conditions for your desires to naturally flow into your life. It is about embodying the feeling of already being, doing, and having what you want. The feeling of having your desires fulfilled is not a passive feeling. It is an active, dynamic state that requires you to feel deeply into the reality of what you want. Imagine for a moment that you already have the financial abundance you seek. How do you feel? Do you feel light, free, and unburdened by worry? Do you feel confident and at ease in your day-to-day life, knowing that money is no longer a source of stress or fear? This is the feeling you must cultivate in order to manifest your desires. It's not enough to simply think about abundance. You must embody the emotional experience of already being abundant. This emotional alignment is the key to unlocking the flow of abundance into your life. It's essential to recognize that your feelings are what attract experiences into your life. If you feel lack, you attract more lack. If you feel fear or doubt, you attract more situations that confirm your fears. On the other hand, when you feel abundance, gratitude, and joy, you are aligning with those same qualities in your external world. The law of attraction is not about thinking positive thoughts alone. It is about embodying the feelings that correspond to the reality you want to create. So this is why simply affirming your desires without truly feeling them will not lead to lasting change. The key to manifestation is the deep inner embodiment of the feeling of already having what you want. This feeling of already having your desires requires you to suspend the belief that something is missing from your life. When you live in the state of having your desires fulfilled, you release the need to chase after them. You stop viewing them as something outside of yourself that you must attain, and instead you start seeing them as something you already possess. The universe operates in harmony with this mindset. It will not deliver your desires if you are constantly vibrating in a state of lack, because lack is the opposite of abundance. However, when you feel the fullness of having your desires now, the universe responds by bringing those desires into your life, often in ways you cannot predict. Living in the state of fulfillment requires trust and faith. You must trust that the process is already underway, even when your external circumstances seem to suggest otherwise. It requires faith in your ability to manifest, faith in the universe's ability to deliver, and faith in the inherent abundance of life. When you embody the feeling of fulfillment, you no longer need to worry about the how or the when. You know that your desires are already on their way, and you simply need to continue living in the feeling of having them now. This unwavering faith and trust are essential in keeping you aligned with the reality of your desires. When you live as though your desires have already been fulfilled, you begin to notice subtle shifts in your experience. Opportunities that were once unavailable may begin to present themselves. People may appear in your life who can help you achieve your goals. Resources you did not know existed may suddenly become available to you. This is the magic of living in the feeling of fulfillment. It creates a resonance within you that attracts the circumstances, people, and events that are aligned with your desires. The more you align your thoughts and feelings with the fulfillment of your desires, the more your outer reality begins to reflect that alignment. It's important to understand that the universe does not need you to figure out the details of how your desires will manifest. When you assume the feeling of fulfillment, the universe works behind the scenes to bring your desires into your reality. It is not your job to know how things will unfold, but to trust that they will unfold in the perfect way and at the perfect time. The more you resist trying to control the how, the more you allow space for the universe to work in ways you cannot even imagine. The act of surrendering to the process is a powerful part of embodying the feeling of already having your desires. You let go of any attachment to the outcome and trust that everything is happening for your highest good. This process of embodying fulfillment is not something that happens overnight. It is a practice that requires consistency and dedication. You must make the decision every day to live in the state of already having your desires. You do this through your thoughts, your feelings, and your actions. Every time you think about your desires, remind yourself that they are already yours. Every time doubt or fear arises, replace it with the feeling of gratitude and joy that comes with having your desires fulfilled. The more you make this practice a part of your daily life, the more you begin to align with the reality of your dreams. One of the most powerful aspects of embodying the feeling of fulfillment is that it allows you to detach from the external circumstances of your life. No matter what is happening in the outer world, you remain anchored in the feeling of already having everything you desire. This is the essence of true freedom. You are no longer a slave to your circumstances or to the passing moods of the world. You are free to create the reality you desire, regardless of the conditions around you. Embodying the feeling of already having what you desire is also an act of self-love and self-worth. It is an acknowledgement that you are worthy of receiving all the good that life has to offer. By feeling the fullness of your desires now, you are affirming your worthiness and your ability to receive. This sense of worthiness is a magnet for the experiences, opportunities, and relationships that will support your desires. The more you feel worthy of having everything you desire, the more you will receive. Ultimately, living in the state of fulfillment is about shifting your consciousness from one of lack and need to one of abundance and having. When you fully embrace the feeling of already having your desires, you align with the natural flow of the universe. The more you live in this state, the more your desires will begin to materialize in your life, often in ways that are even better than you could have imagined. The key is to trust, feel, and remain consistent in the practice of embodying the fulfillment of your desires. The concept of persistent belief and trust is a powerful, transformative force that underpins the process of manifestation. If you are to act as though you already have everything you desire, you must firmly believe that it is not only possible but inevitable that your desires will materialize. Belief is the foundation upon which your reality is built. It's not simply about thinking positive thoughts or hoping for the best. It's about internalizing the certainty that your desires are already on their way to you. This unshakable belief fuels the entire process of creation, propelling you toward your goals and aligning your thoughts, actions, and experiences with the reality you wish to manifest. Belief is more than just a passive thought. It's an active living force. When you believe in something deeply, you emit a vibration that matches the frequency of your desires. If you desire wealth, you must believe that wealth is your natural state. If you want love, you must believe that love is already yours, even before it physically manifests. This belief is not wishful thinking or a mere hope for the future, but a deep conviction that you are worthy of everything you desire and that it is already on its way to you. The universe responds to this belief by bringing your desires into your physical reality. What often hinders people from manifesting their desires is a lack of belief or trust in the process. They may doubt whether they are worthy of their desires, whether they are capable of receiving them, or whether the universe will actually deliver. These doubts, however, are counterproductive. They are a form of resistance that blocks the flow of abundance and keeps you stuck in a state of lack. When you doubt the process, you send out a message that contradicts your desire. The universe is unable to align with the energy of doubt, because doubt vibrates at a frequency that is in opposition to that of faith and trust. Therefore, in order to manifest your desires, you must eliminate doubt and replace it with trust. Trust in the process means surrendering the need to control every aspect of how your desires will unfold. When you trust, you let go of the need to figure everything out, and instead you allow the universe to work in its own time and in its own way. This doesn't mean being passive or sitting idly by, but it does mean letting go of the obsession with timing and the how. Trusting in the process is about knowing that your desires are on their way and that the universe is already orchestrating the circumstances, people, and opportunities that will bring them to you. Your only task is to remain aligned with the feeling of having your desires now and to keep your belief strong. Faith is an essential aspect of belief. When you have faith, you know that even though you may not see the physical evidence of your desires in your current circumstances, they are already being prepared for you. Faith is the certainty that your desires will manifest in perfect timing and that every step you take toward them is divinely guided. It's the knowing that your desires are already part of the universal plan and that nothing can stand in the way of their fulfillment. Faith is a powerful force that keeps you anchored in the knowing that your desires are as good as already here. Trusting the process also means being patient and understanding that everything unfolds at the perfect time. The universe has its own sense of timing, and sometimes the journey to your desires requires certain experiences, lessons, or adjustments that you may not yet understand. It's easy to feel discouraged when your desires have not yet manifested, but this is the time when trust is most important. In these moments of waiting, of not yet seeing the full picture, that your belief in the process must be steadfast. Just as a seed takes time to sprout and grow into a plant, your desires also need time to manifest. However, if you remain patient and trust in the timing of the universe, you will begin to see the signs of your desires materializing. Another important aspect of trust is trusting yourself. You must trust that you have the ability to create and manifest your desires. This means releasing any feelings of inadequacy, doubt, or fear about your capabilities. Many people sabotage their manifestations by believing they are not deserving of success or that they lack the skills and abilities to achieve their goals. These limiting beliefs must be released in order to fully embrace your power to manifest. You are capable, worthy, and deserving of everything you desire, and when you trust in your own abilities, you align yourself with the divine flow of creation. Trusting the process also involves being aware of the signs and synchronicities that guide you on your path. The universe communicates with you in subtle ways, sending you guidance through your intuition, through other people, and through events and circumstances that appear in your life. These signs may not always make sense in the moment, but if you trust in them, you will begin to see how they lead you closer to your desires. Sometimes the universe requires you to take inspired action, to step forward even when you don't have all the answers, and trust that the next steps will reveal themselves. By trusting the process, you allow yourself to be guided to the right opportunities and people who will help you fulfill your desires. Trusting the process also means releasing attachment to outcomes. Often, people become fixated on how their desires should appear, when they should appear, and in what form they should take. This attachment to specific outcomes creates resistance because it creates the belief that you are not yet worthy of what you desire. It's important to remember that the universe knows exactly what you need and when you need it. Sometimes what you desire may come to you in a way that is even better than you imagine. But if you are attached to a specific outcome, you may miss the opportunity when it presents itself. Practice of trust is not always easy, especially when you are in the midst of challenges or difficulties. However, it is in these moments of difficulty that trust is most important. When everything around you appears to be falling apart, it can be easy to give in to fear and doubt. But in those moments, trust that the universe is guiding you through these challenges for a greater purpose. Trust that your desires are still coming to fruition, even if you cannot see it yet. Trust that every obstacle is part of the journey and is helping you to grow stronger and more aligned with your desires. The more you practice trust, the more you begin to see the fruits of your belief. Your desires will begin to manifest in ways that surprise and delight you. You will notice synchronicities, opportunities, and positive changes that come into your life seemingly out of nowhere. When you trust the process, you release resistance and allow your desires to come to you effortlessly. It becomes easier to act as though you already have everything, because you no longer feel the need to chase after it. You trust that it is already on its way, and you simply continue to live in the state of fulfillment. Ultimately, trust is the key that unlocks the door to your desires. It is the unwavering faith that no matter what, you are worthy of everything you desire, and that the universe is working behind the scenes to bring it to you. Trust in yourself, trust in the process, and trust that everything is unfolding perfectly. When you align with this trust, you will find that your desires begin to materialize in ways that exceed your expectations. Deepen. Trust is the energy that powers your manifestation journey, and with it, all things are possible. The importance of taking inspired action cannot be overstated when it comes to manifesting the life of your dreams. While belief, trust, and vision are vital components of the manifestation process, the actual steps you take in the physical world align you with the reality you are creating. Inspired action is not about forcing or pushing. It is about being in alignment with the energy of your desires and following through on the guidance you receive. It is the bridge between the inner world of thought, emotion, and belief and the outer world of physical manifestation. Inspired action is distinct from ordinary action in that it comes from a place of clarity, intuition, and a deep sense of inner knowing. It is not about trying to force something to happen or striving to make things work. Instead, it is about responding to the impulses, nudges, and opportunities that present themselves naturally as you focus on your desires and maintain a positive state of being. When you act in alignment with your desires, the energy behind your actions amplifies the likelihood of success, as you are not operating out of fear or scarcity, but rather from a place of abundance and confidence. The first step toward taking inspired action is to remain in a state of receptivity. This means being open to new opportunities, ideas, and possibilities, and being willing to step outside of your comfort zone. Often people are so fixated on how things should look or how they think things should happen that they block themselves from receiving the opportunities that are right in front of them. Inspired action flows naturally when you are in a state of openness and trust, rather than forcing outcomes to match a preconceived plan. The key to inspired action is to pay attention to your inner guidance. The universe communicates with you through your intuition, gut feelings, and emotional responses. These subtle nudges may come in the form of an idea, a hunch, or an opportunity that feels right. When you receive this guidance, it is important to act on it without hesitation. The impulse to take inspired action is often quiet but unmistakable. And when you trust and follow it, you begin to see the physical manifestation of your desires unfolding. A common misconception about taking inspired action is that it has to be a grand, sweeping gesture that changes everything in your life. However, inspired action can come in the form of small, seemingly insignificant steps. These small actions accumulate over time and eventually lead you to the fulfillment of your desires. For example, you may feel inspired to reach out to a new contact, to attend a particular event, or to explore a new opportunity. These actions may not seem like much on their own, but when they are aligned with your desires, they create a ripple effect that propels you toward your goals. In many cases, the action you are called to take may not seem directly related to your goal. This can create doubt or confusion, as it may appear to be a detour from the path you envisioned. However, this is often where the magic happens. By trusting in the process and taking the action that feels right in the moment, you may discover unexpected connections or opportunities that lead you to exactly where you need to be. Every step, no matter how small or unrelated it may seem, is part of the greater unfolding of your desires. An essential component of inspired action is the willingness to let go of the how. This means releasing attachment to how your desires will manifest and trusting that the universe knows the best way to bring them into your reality. When you focus too much on the how, you can become blocked by your own limited understanding of how things should unfold. Inspired action is about surrendering the need to control every detail and instead allowing the universe to guide you toward the opportunities, people, and experiences that will help you bring your desires to fruition. When you take inspired action, you align yourself with the flow of abundance. You step into the energy of creation, and this energy carries with it a sense of ease and synchronicity. Things begin to fall into place more effortlessly because your actions are aligned with the energy of your desires. You may notice that doors begin to open for you, opportunities seem to appear out of nowhere, and things start to flow with greater ease. This is the result of you stepping into the stream of inspired action, which is in perfect harmony with the law of attraction. One of the most important aspects of taking inspired action is that it requires you to be consistent. While one small action may seem insignificant at first, consistency compounds over time, building momentum that brings your desires closer to reality. Even if you don't see immediate results, trust that the steps you are taking are creating the foundation for your desires to manifest. Each action you take, no matter how small, brings you one step closer to your goal. Inspired action is not about taking one big leap and expecting everything to change overnight, but about being committed to the process and trusting that every action you take is moving you forward. Another important aspect of inspired action is that it requires you to trust yourself. Many people hesitate to take action because they doubt their own abilities or are afraid of making mistakes. This fear can paralyze them and prevent them from moving forward. However, when you trust yourself and your intuition, you allow yourself to take risks and make choices without fear of failure. You understand that every action, whether it leads to immediate success or not, is part of the process of growth and learning. You become more willing to experiment, to take chances, and to trust that each step is leading you to the fulfillment of your desires. Taking inspired action also means acting with a sense of joy and passion. When you are truly aligned with your desires, your actions come from a place of excitement and enthusiasm rather than obligation or fear. You do not take action because you feel you should, but because you are drawn to it, because it feels right and natural. This energy of joy infuses your actions with positive vibrations, amplifying their effectiveness and drawing more of the same energy into your life. Ultimately, the key to taking inspired action is alignment. When you are aligned with your desires, when your thoughts, emotions, and actions are all in harmony, you are able to take steps that are in perfect resonance with your highest good. These steps, whether large or small, lead you toward the manifestation of your dreams. Inspired action is the natural extension of a belief system that is grounded in abundance, trust, and faith. It is the physical expression of your inner reality, and it is through these actions that you begin to shape your world. The more you embrace inspired action and trust the process, the more you begin to see the fruits of your efforts. It is through consistent, aligned action that your dreams and desires begin to take shape, moving from the realm of thought and feeling into tangible physical reality. When you act as if you already have everything, you become the active creator of your life, molding your reality with each inspired step you take. Through inspired action, you not only align with your desires, but also open the door for infinite possibilities to enter your life, guiding you toward the fulfillment of all that you wish to manifest. You must understand that within you lies a power, a creative force that is constantly at work. The world around you, the circumstances, the challenges, they are simply reflections of your inner state. The truth is, there is no limit to what you can achieve, for you are the creator of your own reality. The key is to embody the feeling of persistence, to act as if you have never given up, no matter what the outer world may seem to show you. You see, everything in life follows the law of assumption. When you assume that you will never give up, when you embody the feeling of determination and success, you will find that the world starts to align with that assumption. The secret to creating lasting change lies not in waiting for the conditions to improve, but in shifting your inner state, your inner belief. You must act as though success is inevitable, as if you are already the person who has achieved their dreams. In the midst of setbacks, in moments of doubt, you must persist. You are not a victim of circumstance, you are the master of your experience. When you act as if, when you persist in the face of adversity, the world will respond. Every thought, every feeling you hold creates your future. And when you persist in the feeling of success, it becomes your reality. The feeling of giving up does not exist in the realm of your true power. You are not defined by failure, you are defined by your unwavering belief in your own potential. As you continue this journey, remember that you are not bound by time or external conditions. You can always shift your focus, change your inner dialogue, and embrace the reality of persistence. The power is always within you. Your ability to act as if you have never given up is a testament to the strength of your will and the depth of your belief in the life you are creating. Never allow doubt to cloud your vision for what you believe you shall become. Within each of us lies an immense untapped power, the power to shape our lives, our experiences, and our realities. This power is not something external, nor is it reliant on the conditions around us. It stems from the beliefs we hold deep within ourselves. Your reality is not shaped by what is happening outside of you, but rather by what is happening within you. Your inner beliefs form the foundation upon which your life is built. If you believe in your ability to succeed, to overcome obstacles, and to achieve your dreams, the external world will inevitably shift to reflect this belief. It is a common misconception to think that our environment, circumstances, or past experiences define who we are and what we can achieve. People often look at the challenges they face, the failures they have experienced, or the setbacks they are currently enduring, and they allow those things to influence their beliefs about themselves. They see their limitations as truths, as if they are inherent qualities they must live with forever. But the truth is, nothing outside of you has the power to define your future unless you allow it to. This is where the power of belief comes into play. The beliefs you carry within you are like a blueprint, a map, guiding your actions and shaping your path. If you hold the belief that success is impossible, that you are unworthy, or that you are limited by your circumstances, those beliefs will act as a barrier, preventing you from stepping into your full potential. But if you change your belief, if you shift your inner conversation to one of possibility, then you will start to see the world reflect that back to you. Belief is a force, and like all forces, it is incredibly powerful. It can build or destroy, create or limit. When you truly believe in something, it becomes your truth. This is not just about wishful thinking or hopeful desires. It is about understanding the true nature of belief. Belief is not just a thought that you hold in your mind. It is a feeling that you embody, an energy that vibrates through you, influencing every action you take. The more deeply you believe in something, the more it becomes a part of your reality. When you believe in your success, when you believe that you can overcome any obstacle, you begin to act in ways that align with that belief. When we look at successful individuals throughout history, whether in business, art, science, or any other field, we see that their success was not dictated by the external conditions of their lives. Yes, they faced difficulties, setbacks, and challenges. But their belief in their abilities, in their dreams, in their vision, was what set them apart. They did not allow the hardships they faced to determine their future. Instead, they held an unwavering belief in their potential, and this belief became the driving force behind their success. The power of belief is not just about believing in the positive outcome. It is about believing in yourself, in your ability to persevere through adversity, and in your ability to create change. There is a certain energy that comes with this belief. It's an energy that propels you forward even when things seem impossible. This belief does not come from the outside, it comes from within, and it has the ability to transform the world around you. One of the most important aspects of belief is that it is self-reinforcing. The more you believe in yourself and your potential, the more actions you will take that align with that belief. These actions in turn will lead to experiences that reinforce your belief even further. This creates a cycle of positive reinforcement, where your belief in yourself grows stronger with each success, no matter how small. Even if you face failures along the way, your belief in your ability to overcome them will ensure that you keep moving forward. Each challenge becomes an opportunity to strengthen your belief, to show yourself that you are capable, that you are resilient, and that you can create your reality. On the other hand, if you hold limiting beliefs about yourself, you will find that the world around you reflects these beliefs. If you believe that you are incapable or unworthy, you will unconsciously take actions that align with that belief. You may avoid opportunities, sabotage your own efforts, or allow fear to dictate your choices. These actions then lead to experiences that reinforce your belief in your limitations, creating a cycle of self-doubt and missed opportunities. It becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, where your beliefs shape the reality you experience. The key to changing your life then is to change your beliefs. But this is not always as simple as it sounds. Many of us have deeply ingrained beliefs that have been formed over a lifetime of experiences, conditioning, and societal influence. These beliefs can be difficult to change, especially when they are negative or limiting in nature. But the good news is that beliefs are not fixed. They can be changed, and you have the power to do so. The first step in changing your beliefs is to become aware of them. Start paying attention to the thoughts and feelings that you carry with you every day. What do you believe about yourself? What do you believe about the world around you? What do you believe is possible for you? This self-awareness is the first step in shifting your beliefs. Once you identify your limiting beliefs, you can begin to challenge them. Ask yourself, is this belief serving me? Is it true? More often than not, you will find that these beliefs are based on false assumptions or past experiences that no longer hold any relevance. The next step is to replace these limiting beliefs with empowering ones. Instead of focusing on what you cannot do, focus on what you are capable of achieving. Instead of seeing obstacles as roadblocks, view them as opportunities for growth and learning. Start to affirm to yourself, I am capable, I am worthy, I can overcome any challenge. Success is within my reach. The more you repeat these positive affirmations, the more they will begin to sink into your subconscious mind, reshaping your beliefs and aligning your inner world with your desired reality. Remember, belief is not a passive act. It is an active, energetic force. You must embody the belief that you are capable, that you are worthy, and that success is inevitable. When you truly believe in yourself, when you truly believe that you can achieve your dreams, the world will begin to reflect that belief back to you. Your thoughts, your actions, and your experiences will all align with this new belief, and you will begin to create the reality you desire. The power of belief is the most potent force you have at your disposal. Your beliefs create your reality, and if you want to change your reality, you must start by changing your beliefs. The more deeply you believe in yourself and your potential, the more your reality will align with your desires. The world around you is not static. It is a reflection of your inner state. When you believe in your success, the world will mirror that belief, opening doors and opportunities that you may have once thought impossible. The power is always within you. It is time to awaken that power, to believe in yourself fully, and to act as if success is already yours. The law of assumption is a powerful and often misunderstood principle that governs how we create our experiences. It states that what we assume to be true, what we believe, and what we expect to happen will inevitably shape our reality. In simple terms, the law of assumption reveals that our assumptions, whether conscious or subconscious, about ourselves, the world, and the future, are the very forces that determine what unfolds in our lives. We live in a world that is shaped by the beliefs and expectations we carry within us. When we assume that something is going to happen, whether it is good or bad, that assumption becomes a driving force behind the events that manifest. Our assumptions are not merely wishful thoughts or fleeting desires. They are deeply held beliefs that influence our actions, emotions, and perceptions. The law of assumption operates on the premise that the mind does not differentiate between what is real and what is imagined. When we assume something, when we wholeheartedly believe it to be true, our mind accepts it as fact, and the world responds accordingly. This is why the law of assumption is such a powerful tool in the process of creation. If we assume success, if we assume that we are capable of achieving our desires, we begin to act in alignment with that assumption, and the universe moves to bring our assumption to fruition. Assuming success is not just about thinking positive thoughts or hoping for the best. It goes beyond superficial optimism. It involves embodying the belief that success is inevitable, regardless of the current circumstances or challenges. When you act as if success is already yours, you send a powerful message to your subconscious mind and to the world around you. This belief shapes the actions you take, the decisions you make, and the opportunities that present themselves. The law of assumption teaches us that we must live as though we have already received what we desire, embracing the feeling of success and satisfaction as if it has already happened. For instance, if you desire to be a successful entrepreneur, the law of assumption suggests that you must assume without doubt that you are already successful. You must carry the mindset, the confidence, and the energy of someone who is already living that reality. When you operate from this place of assumption, you begin to take actions that reflect this belief. You will find yourself making decisions, taking risks, and seizing opportunities in a way that aligns with your assumed success. The universe, in turn, will respond to this alignment, and the circumstances around you will begin to shift to match the assumption you hold. The law of assumption also extends to our relationships. If you assume that others respect you, value you, and appreciate you, you will carry yourself in a way that commands respect. Your assumptions influence how you communicate, how you interact, and how others respond to you. People will reflect your assumptions about them, often unknowingly, because they are responding to the energy you are putting out. When you assume positive outcomes, when you assume that people will treat you with kindness and respect, you will begin to notice more of those experiences coming into your life. On the other hand, if you assume that others will treat you poorly or disrespect you, your actions and energy will reflect that assumption, and you will likely find yourself attracting situations and people that mirror that belief. One of the most important aspects of the law of assumption is the realization that it does not matter what the current circumstances are. The law works regardless of whether your present situation is aligned with your desired outcome or not. The law of assumption works best when you embrace it fully, regardless of any external evidence to the contrary. It is easy to let the external world dictate our assumptions and beliefs. If we see evidence of failure or lack in our current circumstances, we may assume that success is out of reach. However, the law of assumption teaches us that external circumstances are merely temporary reflections of past assumptions, and they do not have to dictate our future. In fact, the more we assume the reality we want to create, the more we begin to shift those external conditions in our favor. A key part of this process is the ability to remain persistent in your assumptions, even when external evidence may suggest otherwise. The law of assumption encourages you to focus on the assumption, the belief, and the feeling of already having what you desire without waiting for evidence to prove it. This is where the power lies. It is not about waiting for things to change before you assume success. It is about assuming success even when things seem to be going in the opposite direction. When you consistently hold on to the assumption that success is yours, regardless of the present circumstances, you begin to reshape the conditions around you. One way to practice the law of assumption is to visualize your desired outcome, not as something in the future, but as something that is happening right now. In your mind's eye, see yourself already having achieved what you desire. Feel the emotions of success, joy, and fulfillment, as if you are living it right now. By doing this, you are planting the seeds of your assumption, creating a powerful force of energy that will begin to attract and align the circumstances needed for your success. Another important aspect of the law of assumption is the understanding that our assumptions affect more than just our actions. They also affect our feelings and our vibration. When you assume that something is true, you begin to feel as though it is true. You generate the emotions that align with your assumption, and this emotional energy is what powers your actions. When you assume that you are successful, you will begin to feel confident, powerful, and capable. This feeling then propels you into action, creating a cycle of positive energy that attracts the desired outcome. The law of assumption can be applied to every area of your life. Whether you are seeking wealth, health, love, or success, the key is to assume that you already have it. The law of assumption teaches us that what we assume, we become. What we believe, we create. The moment you assume that success is inevitable, that health and vitality are already yours, that love is already present in your life, you begin to act as if it is true. This shift in consciousness is the catalyst for creating the life you desire. It is essential to remember that the law of assumption is not about pretending to have something you don't have or about deceiving yourself. It is about aligning your inner state with the reality you want to create. It is about fully embracing the belief that your desires are already fulfilled and living as though they are. When you do this, you align yourself with the creative power of the universe, and the world begins to respond to your assumptions. In conclusion, the law of assumption is a powerful and transformative principle that guides the way we create our reality. When we assume success, when we assume that our desires are already fulfilled, we set in motion a series of events that will manifest our assumptions into reality. It is not the external world that defines us, but our internal beliefs and assumptions. The more we assume, the more we begin to see the evidence of our assumptions unfolding before us. When you assume success, you act in alignment with success, and the universe will meet you with the opportunities and circumstances that match your assumption. The law of assumption is a reminder that we are the creators of our experience, and that what we assume is what we become. Persistence is one of the most powerful forces that anyone can harness when it comes to achieving success. It is not merely about sticking to something until it happens, but about cultivating an inner strength that drives you forward regardless of the circumstances. Persistence is the ability to continue moving towards your goals despite setbacks, obstacles, or even failures. It is the refusal to give up when things seem impossible. The unwavering belief that you can and will overcome anything standing in your way. In moments of doubt or adversity, persistence becomes the bridge between where you are and where you want to be. When you cultivate persistence, you are choosing to remain committed to your vision, even when it feels like the universe is conspiring against you. Many people face moments when everything seems to be falling apart, when the path ahead appears unclear or too difficult to navigate. It is in these moments that the power of persistence truly reveals itself. Those who succeed are not necessarily the ones who never face adversity or who find themselves in a position of constant ease. Success comes to those who, despite the difficulties and challenges they face, continue to push forward, continue to believe in the possibility of their dreams, and continue to take action. The key to persistence lies in one's mindset. It is easy to be motivated when things are going well, when everything seems to align effortlessly. But the real test comes when life throws its challenges at you. How you respond in these moments will ultimately determine your success. When things get tough, persistence requires you to hold on to your belief in your goals with an even stronger grip. It asks you to act from a place of inner knowing that success is not a matter of luck or circumstances, but a matter of inner strength, vision, and determination. Persistence in the face of adversity also involves developing a deep trust in your own abilities. It is easy to question yourself when things go wrong. doubt creeps in, and the temptation to quit becomes overwhelming. But the persistent person understands that failure is not the end. It is merely a part of the journey. They understand that each setback is a lesson, each failure a stepping stone that brings them closer to their goal. They understand that persistence is not about avoiding failure, but about not allowing failure to define them. They keep moving forward, they keep learning, and they keep improving. This is the attitude that will eventually lead to success. True persistence is a combination of unwavering belief and consistent action. It's not enough to simply wish for something or hope that things will get better on their own. Persistence demands that you show up every day, take one step after another, and continue moving toward your goal with determination, even when the road is rough. You must be willing to make the necessary sacrifices, put in the hard work, and keep your focus on the long-term vision, rather than being swayed by the temporary obstacles in front of you. In the face of adversity, it is important to remember that persistence is not about forcing things to happen. It's about aligning yourself with your goals and moving forward with faith, trust, and patience. It's about showing up for yourself and your dreams, no matter what happens. Persistence is built through small, consistent actions, not through big, sudden bursts of energy. It is the small things done every day, the discipline to keep going, the patience to stay focused, and the ability to adapt to changing circumstances that form the foundation of persistence. One of the greatest challenges in practicing persistence is managing the emotional roller coaster that often accompanies the pursuit of goals. The highs and lows can be disorienting, and it's easy to get discouraged when things aren't progressing as quickly as you'd like. However, persistence requires emotional resilience, the ability to stay steady and grounded even when emotions fluctuate. Emotions such as fear, frustration, and disappointment are all a part of the human experience, and they can be powerful barriers to continued progress. But the persistent individual does not let these emotions dictate their actions. Instead, they acknowledge them, understand them, and continue to move forward regardless. They understand that emotions are temporary, but their vision and goals are long-term. They refuse to let the temporary setbacks or the emotional turbulence stop them from achieving their dreams. The journey to success is often long and winding, and persistence is what helps you stay on the path. There will be times when you feel like giving up, times when it seems like the easier option is to throw in the towel and walk away. But the persistent person understands that the greatest rewards come not to those who give up at the first sign of difficulty, but to those who keep going, who show resilience and endurance through the challenges. They understand that success is not an event that happens overnight, but a process, a journey that requires patience, faith, and continual effort. It's also important to recognize that persistence is not about pushing through everything at all costs. It's about being flexible and adaptable, learning from mistakes, and adjusting your approach when necessary. True persistence does not involve stubbornly repeating the same actions over and over again if they are not producing results. Instead, it's about staying committed to the vision, but being open to new ways of achieving that vision. Sometimes the path you thought you would take is not the right one, and persistence requires the wisdom to change direction when needed without giving up on the ultimate goal. It's about staying resourceful and finding solutions even when things are not going as planned. Persistence also involves resilience in the face of rejection or criticism. Many people abandon their dreams because they fear judgment or failure. They fear what others might think or say about their pursuits. But persistence requires you to rise above the opinions of others and stay focused on your own truth. You must believe in your vision so deeply that the fear of rejection, criticism, or failure cannot shake you. You must have an inner resolve that no external forces can break. One of the most powerful aspects of persistence is its ability to inspire others. When people see you persevere, when they witness your determination to succeed, it encourages them to do the same. Your persistence becomes a beacon of hope and possibility for others. It shows them that no matter where they start or how difficult the journey may be, they too can achieve their dreams if they keep going. In this way, persistence not only shapes your life, but can also have a ripple effect on those around you, encouraging others to believe in themselves and their own abilities. The truth is, there are no shortcuts to success. There is no magic formula, no easy way out. The only way to achieve what you desire is to keep going, no matter what. When you act with persistence, when you make the commitment to never give up, you open the door to success. You begin to understand that success is not defined by the absence of failure, but by the ability to keep moving forward, to stay focused, and to keep your eye on the prize, even when it seems distant or out of reach. Persistence, combined with belief and action, is the driving force that will bring your dreams to life. And while the path may be long and filled with challenges, the reward of seeing your vision come to fruition makes every step worth it. The journey of maintaining unwavering focus on your goals, especially in times of difficulty or discouragement, requires more than just willpower. It demands clarity of purpose, a deep understanding of your vision, and the ability to remain grounded in the face of external distractions. To focus means to channel your energy, attention, and resources toward a singular outcome with a level of commitment that transcends fleeting circumstances. When you focus on your goal, you not only determine where your energy goes, but also shape the events and situations that align with your desires. Focus is the act of consistently placing your thoughts, actions, and emotions on your desired outcome. And this singular focus becomes the driving force that propels you forward. Life is full of distractions. We are bombarded by constant noise. From external factors like societal expectations, the opinions of others, and changing circumstances, to internal distractions like self-doubt, fear, and uncertainty. These distractions have the potential to derail us from our path, causing us to lose sight of the vision we set for ourselves. However, the persistent individual understands that focusing on a goal is not just about ignoring these distractions, but about choosing to engage with the thoughts and actions that bring them closer to their desired outcome. Focusing is an intentional act. It is a conscious choice to direct your energy, your time, and your actions toward what matters most. The challenge lies in staying focused, even when everything around you seems to be shifting or falling apart. There are times in life when progress feels slow or almost non-existent. You may put in the work, take all the right steps, and yet still not see the results you expect. During these times, it's easy to become disheartened, to start doubting your abilities or the possibility of your dreams. But staying focused means refusing to let these temporary setbacks cloud your vision. It means holding on to your belief in the outcome, even when you can't see immediate results. This is where the power of focus becomes evident. It is in those moments of frustration or doubt that focus becomes your greatest ally. It's the ability to see beyond the present circumstances and stay anchored in the truth of your vision that keeps you moving forward. At its core, focus is about emotional discipline. The mind is easily swayed by emotions. Fear, anger, disappointment, and frustration can hijack your thoughts, pulling your attention away from your goal and clouding your judgment. If left unchecked, these emotions can create a cycle of negative thinking that disrupts your progress. To maintain focus, you must learn how to manage your emotions and not allow them to dictate your actions. This does not mean suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine, but rather recognizing and acknowledging your emotions without letting them control your behavior. When you focus on your goal, you choose to prioritize your desires over transient emotions. Instead of getting caught up in fear or doubt, you remind yourself of your purpose and continue taking steps forward, even if they are small ones. Maintaining focus also requires an ongoing process of mental training. Our minds naturally gravitate toward what is most familiar or immediately gratifying. We may find ourselves distracted by what others are doing or by the constant pull of technology, entertainment, or social media. These distractions may offer temporary relief, but they do not align with our long-term desires. To maintain focus, you must train your mind to return to the task at hand, to filter out distractions, and to stay locked onto your desired outcome. One effective way to strengthen your focus is through mindfulness practices, meditation, or visualizations. These techniques help calm the mind, reduce mental clutter, and refocus your attention on what matters most. By practicing mindfulness, you can develop the ability to stay present with your goal, blocking out the noise that might otherwise pull your attention in multiple directions. Another key component of focus is the ability to break down larger goals into smaller, more manageable steps. Often, people lose focus because they are overwhelmed by the magnitude of their dreams. The vision of success can feel so far away that it becomes difficult to maintain a clear sense of direction. By breaking your goal down into smaller, actionable tasks, you not only make the process feel less daunting, but also create a roadmap for success. Each small step becomes a victory, and each victory brings you one step closer to your larger vision. When you focus on these smaller milestones, you stay engaged in the present moment, constantly reaffirming your commitment to your larger goal without getting lost in the future. Focus also involves the power of persistence, staying committed to your goal, even when you face obstacles or periods of discouragement. It's important to understand that achieving a big goal requires time, and along the way you will likely encounter moments when things don't go as planned. There will be setbacks, delays, and challenges that seem insurmountable. However, by maintaining focus, you refuse to let these challenges dictate your path. Instead, you view them as opportunities to learn, adapt, and grow. Your focus keeps you grounded in your purpose, reminding you that these obstacles are simply part of the journey, not the end of the road. With this mindset, you develop the resilience needed to push through difficult times, knowing that your unwavering focus is what will ultimately lead you to success. Discipline allows you to stay committed to your goal despite the natural fluctuations in motivation. Motivation can come and go. It's a fleeting feeling that may not always be present when you need it most. But discipline, unlike motivation, is a choice you make every day. It's the commitment to showing up, doing the work, and staying aligned with your vision, even when the initial excitement wears off. The key is to cultivate habits that support your focus, such as establishing a consistent routine or creating an environment that minimizes distractions. These habits become second nature over time, reinforcing your focus and ensuring that you remain on track. In a world filled with constant distractions and demands on our attention, it can be easy to lose sight of what truly matters. But by training yourself to focus, you regain control over your thoughts, emotions, and actions. You learn to filter out the noise, hone in on your goals, and direct your energy where it will have the greatest impact. The power of focus lies in its ability to align every aspect of your being, your thoughts, your actions, and your emotions toward the fulfillment of your desires. When you focus on your goal with unwavering determination, the universe begins to align with your vision, and you find the doors start to open, opportunities arise, and the resources you need appear at the right time. Focus also means having the ability to say no. Saying no to distractions, saying no to the things that do not serve your goal, and saying no to anything that pulls you away from your purpose. Saying no is not about shutting yourself off from the world, but about creating the space to say yes to what truly matters. It's about protecting your time, your energy, and your mental resources so that you can dedicate them fully to your vision. Focus requires discernment, the ability to recognize what aligns with your goals and what doesn't, and to make the conscious choice to invest your attention wisely. Ultimately, focus is a combination of mental clarity, emotional discipline, consistent effort, and the ability to remain aligned with your vision regardless of external circumstances. It is the foundation upon which all success is built. When you focus on your goals with clarity and commitment, you unlock the potential within you to manifest your dreams and create the life you desire. By remaining focused, you don't just hope for success, you actively create it, step by step, moment by moment, with unwavering dedication and belief. Faith in your ability to achieve your desires and live out your goals is one of the most crucial elements to success. It's not just about believing that your desires are possible, but about embodying a deep, unshakable trust in your own power to create the life you want. This is the foundation upon which everything else is built. Faith is more than a passive belief. It is an active force that drives your thoughts, actions, and decisions. It fuels your persistence, strengthens your focus, and empowers you to overcome the inevitable obstacles that arise along the way. When you have faith in yourself and in your vision, you develop the courage to keep going even when the path ahead is unclear. The journey towards success is not always a straight line. There are moments when you may doubt your abilities, when the outcome seems uncertain, or when things seem to be going wrong. During these moments, it is faith that keeps you grounded and moving forward. It's not about waiting for everything to fall into place before you act. It's about trusting that every step you take, every effort you make, is leading you toward the fulfillment of your dreams. Faith is also about seeing beyond the current circumstances. It requires the ability to envision your desired future clearly and to remain aligned with that vision even when present reality doesn't reflect it. The present moment, no matter how challenging, is only temporary. Faith allows you to maintain a long-term perspective, one that isn't swayed by momentary difficulties or delays. It encourages you to stay focused on what is yet to come, to believe in the unseen potential that exists just beyond your current reality. When you act in faith, you don't allow yourself to be trapped by what is happening now, but instead, you stay anchored in the belief that what you desire is already on its way. This belief, however, does not mean that you sit back and wait for things to unfold on their own. Faith is not about passivity. It's about trusting the process while still taking action. Faith is the driving force that propels you to move forward, to take those small steps every day toward your goals. It's the trust that, even if you don't see immediate results, you are moving in the right direction. Faith doesn't always bring instant gratification, but it assures you that each step taken in alignment with your vision is moving you closer to your destination. It teaches you to remain patient, to trust that timing is a crucial part of the process, and that every moment holds the potential for growth and transformation. When you have faith, you begin to understand that challenges and setbacks are not signs that you are on the wrong path, but rather they are part of the unfolding of your journey. They are opportunities for growth, lessons in resilience, and stepping stones that bring you closer to your goal. Faith in the process allows you to view these obstacles not as failures, but as necessary elements of the path you are meant to walk. It allows you to adapt and adjust your approach without losing sight of your ultimate goal. Challenges do not deter you. They strengthen your resolve and deepen your belief that you will eventually succeed. One of the most powerful aspects of faith is its ability to transform your perspective. When you have faith, you view the world through the lens of possibility rather than limitation. You no longer see obstacles as insurmountable barriers, but as temporary conditions that can be overcome. This shift in mindset is transformative because it changes how you approach every aspect of your life. Instead of being paralyzed by fear or doubt, you become empowered to take action, to think creatively, and to problem solve in new ways. Faith gives you the courage to take risks and step outside of your comfort zone, knowing that no matter what happens, you have the ability to handle it. Having faith also means that you trust the timing of the universe. It is easy to become frustrated when things don't happen as quickly as you'd like, or when the path to your goals seems longer or more difficult than anticipated. However, faith teaches you that everything is unfolding in its own time. You understand that there is a divine timing at play, and that each step of the journey is preparing you for what's to come. This understanding takes the pressure off and allows you to enjoy the process rather than being consumed by the outcome. Faith allows you to trust that what is meant for you will come at the right time, and that you are exactly where you need to be in the present moment. Another important aspect of faith is the ability to believe in your own inner guidance. Everyone has an intuitive sense of direction, a quiet knowing that leads them toward their dreams. Faith means trusting this inner voice even when the logical mind may have doubts or when external circumstances seem uncertain. Your intuition is always guiding you toward your highest good, and faith is the ability to trust it fully. It encourages you to take action based on what feels right in your heart, even if you don't have all the answers or the perfect plan. Faith allows you to trust that the next step will reveal itself as you move forward, and that you are always being guided toward your ultimate purpose. Faith is also a powerful tool for overcoming fear. Fear often arises when you are about to step into the unknown, when you are faced with a decision that could bring you closer to your dreams or lead you into unfamiliar territory. The fear of failure, rejection, or not being good enough can stop you in your tracks. However, faith serves as the antidote to fear. It allows you to take the leap, to push past the boundaries of your comfort zone and to act despite the fear. When you have faith, you understand that fear is simply an emotion that will pass, but your dreams and your vision remain. Faith gives you the strength to move forward even when fear is present, knowing that you are more than capable of handling whatever challenges come your way. It's important to recognize that faith is not a one-time event. It is a continuous practice. Every day you have the opportunity to strengthen your faith through your thoughts, actions, and choices. It is a commitment to trust in yourself, in the process, and in the greater plan for your life. This practice of faith is what transforms dreams into reality. It is what turns goals into achievements. It is the foundation for all of your endeavors, and it keeps you grounded in your purpose no matter what external circumstances arise. To develop and strengthen your faith, it's helpful to cultivate a mindset of gratitude. Gratitude allows you to see the blessings in every moment, even in the midst of challenges. When you express gratitude for the small victories and the lessons along the way, you reinforce your faith that everything is working out for your highest good. Gratitude shifts your focus from what's lacking to what's abundant in your life. And this shift in focus fuels your belief in the possibility of even greater things to come. Faith is a living, breathing force that grows and evolves with you. The more you trust in your own abilities and the unfolding of your journey, the more faith you have in the process. It becomes a cycle of belief and manifestation. As you act in faith, your faith grows stronger. And as your faith grows, the world begins to reflect that belief back to you in the form of opportunities, resources, and support. When you hold steadfast in your faith, you align with the flow of the universe, and the doors to your desires begin to open in ways that you could never have imagined. There is a power within you so complete, so vast, that it responds to the very tone and rhythm of your inner assumptions. It does not ask if what you believe is reasonable, practical, or even possible. It only reflects. It listens to the feeling behind your words, the emotion behind your thoughts, and it brings forth into form what you have accepted as true. To act as if you have the energy to attract everything is not mere pretending, it is the law in motion. It is creation in its purest, most direct expression. The moment you embody the state of already having, you shift your world. You do not wait to receive energy. You claim it now by the way you walk, breathe, and speak. You rise in the morning not as someone hoping to be magnetic, but as one who knows they already are. When you walk into a room, let it be known not by words, but by vibration that you carry a current so powerful, so certain that it pulls all things into alignment with your desire. You do not need to chase. You do not need to beg. What belongs to the state you occupy must come. That is the law. The state you dwell in determines the events of your life, and your assumption is the bridge. So begin now. Assume the energy is yours. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Even if your body feels tired, even if your circumstances scream otherwise, go inward and claim, I am the one who draws all things to me. I am charged, alive, radiant with power. Feel it. Breathe as though the air around you is responding to your every thought, rearranging people and opportunities in your favor. Live from the end. Do not visualize the outcome from afar. Step into the scene. Feel the texture of it. Hear the voices that would speak to you if your desire were already fulfilled. Walk through the day as the person who already possesses it all. Let your world mirror the internal shift. Energy is not something outside of you to gather, it is the expression of your state of consciousness. When you accept that you are magnetic, vibrant, and full of life, the world has no choice but to conform. Everything is drawn to you by the way you feel yourself to be. Do not wait for permission. Do not wait for circumstances to justify your belief. Begin now within in silence and certainty. The outer world is but the echo of the inner world, and once you act as if the energy is yours, you awaken it. You ignite it, you become it. And from that state, all things are added unto you. Assume the energy is already yours. This is the beginning of true transformation. When you assume something, you are not merely thinking about it, you are claiming it as your current reality. You are stepping into a state of being that no longer wishes, no longer waits, but knows. To assume is to accept. And what you accept as true for yourself becomes the law by which your life unfolds. The moment you say, I have the energy, you are not lying to yourself. You are aligning with a deeper truth that already exists within the infinite field of possibilities. Energy is not something you acquire from the outside, it is something you awaken from within. You are not trying to convince the world that you are powerful, radiant, magnetic, you are convincing yourself. Because once you accept it internally, the outer world has no choice but to follow. When you wake up in the morning and your body feels heavy, when circumstances seem overwhelming, when your mind wants to spiral into limitation, that is the exact moment you must turn inward and choose a new assumption. You don't fight reality, you reshape it by how you perceive yourself. The tiredness is not the truth. The lack is not the truth. The truth is whatever you decide to accept, feel, and embody. You do not need physical proof to begin this inner work. You need only imagination and willingness. Imagination is the key to all things. When you imagine yourself full of energy, full of life, you're not engaging in fantasy, you're activating the blueprint of your ideal self. Every image you hold with feeling impresses upon your subconscious mind, and from that impression your reality is created. The world around you is simply a delayed reflection of the world within you. Many people wait to feel energized before they take action, before they move forward, before they decide to believe in themselves. But that is living from reaction, not creation. The one who understands this principle knows they do not wait, they become. They close their eyes, take a breath, and enter the state. Not someday, not when the conditions are right, but now. To assume the energy is already yours is to walk differently. It's to hold your head a little higher, to speak with more certainty, to carry yourself as someone who knows they are worthy of all they desire. Even if the body feels weak, even if the day looks bleak, you anchor yourself in the truth of your being. I am energy. I am power. I am radiant. And you say it not to trick the world, but to awaken the part of you that already knows it to be true. There is nothing outside of you that can give you what you do not claim for yourself. No person, no achievement, no affirmation will stick if you do not first assume the identity. The energy you're seeking is already coded into your consciousness. You are not becoming someone new, you are remembering who you really are. The tiredness was only a mask. The doubt was only a shadow. Underneath it all is the real you, and the real you is full of life. When you walk into a space, act as if the energy is flowing through you in waves. Act as if every cell in your body is vibrating at the frequency of success, joy, and vitality. You don't need to prove it. You don't need to explain it. You simply need to be it. Others will feel it. Life will respond. Opportunities will open not because you chased them, but because you became the version of yourself that naturally attracts them. This is not about pretending in the shallow sense. This is not about faking it. This is about entering the state so fully that you forget it was ever a choice. You don't act like you're energized, you are energized because you have decided so. And that decision, backed by feeling, becomes your dominant vibration. The inner world is always first. The outer world is the mirror. If you wait for the reflection to change, you will wait forever. But if you change the image you hold of yourself, if you assume the posture, the energy, the identity of the one who already Has it, you speed up the reflection. You set reality into motion. You may not know how it will all unfold. You don't need to. The how is never your responsibility. Your only task is to live in the end, to move from the state, to carry the energy of completion. When you say, I have the energy to attract everything I want, and you mean it, feel it, and live from it, doors begin to open. Not because they were locked, but because you were no longer knocking as a beggar. You walk through them as the rightful owner. Each moment is a new opportunity to assume the energy. When doubt creeps in, return to the feeling. When fatigue tries to define your identity, remind yourself that you are not the body, you are the power that animates the body. You are the force behind the eyes. You are the breath behind the breath. You are pure consciousness, choosing this expression. And when you choose to embody energy, your whole life transforms to match that choice. Let your thoughts match the energy you desire. Let your words confirm it. Let your body language reflect it. The universe is not confused, it gives you what you assume to be true. So assume well, assume wisely. And above all, assume now. There is nothing you need to wait for. You are not preparing to be powerful. You are not trying to become magnetic. You are it. Now, always. And as you live from that truth, your reality has no choice but to rise and meet you. Feeling creates reality. This is not a poetic idea, nor is it a motivational phrase. It is a fundamental truth about the nature of existence. What you feel to be true, deep in your inner being, takes shape in the world around you. You are not waiting for the world to give you a reason to feel successful, loved, confident, or worthy. You are choosing to feel these things first. And by that inner choice, you give birth to experiences that match it. Most people live in a state of reaction. They wait to see the evidence before they allow themselves to feel the emotion. They believe that once the job comes, once the relationship arrives, once the health is restored, then they will feel peace, joy, fulfillment. But this is the reverse of the law. The outer world does not create the inner state. The inner state creates the outer world. When you wake up each day and decide to feel the reality of your desire, regardless of circumstances, you set into motion unseen forces. You tune your consciousness to a specific frequency, and that frequency draws matching events, people, and opportunities into your life. You do not need to figure out how. You do not need to control the path. You only need to feel your way into the state of already having. If you desire love, you must feel love not for someone or from someone, but as your own nature. You become the presence of love, and that presence becomes magnetic. If you want to be wealthy, you must feel the ease, the freedom, the gratitude of already being wealthy. Not someday, not eventually, but now, in your imagination, in your spirit, in your feeling. You may ask, how can I feel something I do not yet see? And the answer is simple, because feeling is not dependent on the external. You have felt fear in moments where there was no real threat. You have felt joy in memories and dreams that lived only in your mind. Feeling is not limited to what is visible. It is a tool, a bridge between the invisible and the seen. The world around you is the echo of yesterday's feelings. If you want to know what you've been feeling consistently, look around. Your environment, your experiences, your relationships, they are all shaped by what you have accepted emotionally. But you are not bound by the past. You can shift the entire trajectory of your life by choosing new feelings now. This is not about forcing positive emotion or denying what you're going through. It is about choosing your inner state deliberately. It is about becoming aware of what you've been radiating and deciding to shift your inner atmosphere to match what you truly desire. Because what you feel, you invite. What you feel, you communicate. What you feel, you manifest. Feeling is the language of creation. It speaks louder than words. You can affirm all day long that you are abundant. But if you feel lack, that is what you will continue to experience. You can visualize success, but if you feel fear and unworthiness, those feelings will outweigh the image. The key is to align the inner picture with the inner emotion, then creation becomes inevitable. So practice the feeling of your wish fulfilled. not as something in the distance, but as something that is already yours. If you knew it was coming, how would you feel? If it were here now, how would you walk, breathe, speak, think? Begin to embody that version of you today. Let your inner world reflect that state so clearly that the outer world must bend to match it. Do not be fooled by appearances. They are only the residue of old feelings. They do not define you, and they do not predict what comes next unless you keep reacting to them. Instead of reacting to what is, respond with what you prefer. Bring your awareness inward and ask yourself, what would it feel like if everything worked out for me? And then feel it not just in your head, but in your heart, in your breath, in your body. This is not imagination as escape. This is imagination as power. It is not about pretending. It is about choosing. Every great change begins with a shift in feeling. Revolutions, inventions, art, miracles, they all begin with someone feeling something greater than what they currently saw. Someone dared to feel the impossible as possible. Someone dared to enter a new state before the evidence appeared. And you can do the same. You can close your eyes right now and step into the scene of your ideal life. You can see it. You can hear it. But most importantly, you can feel it. You can make it real inside yourself. And as you do, you are no longer the same person. You are no longer living from limitation. You are no longer waiting. You are becoming. You are being. You must persist in that feeling not once, not twice, but until it becomes your new dwelling place. Until it becomes natural. Until you wake up and no longer wonder if your desire will manifest because you feel as if it already has. This is the state that creates. This is the vibration that pulls all things into form. There is no limit to what you can create because there is no limit to what you can feel. You are not creating things, you are creating states, and the states bring the things. You are not chasing experiences, you are generating the inner atmosphere where those experiences are inevitable. So become familiar with the feelings of your ideal life. Make them your new home. When doubt arises, return to the feeling. When fear whispers, return to the feeling. Let nothing distract you from the truth that lives within. What you feel to be true is more powerful than what you see. And what you consistently feel will eventually become what you see. You are the center of your world. You are the cause of your experience. And your feelings are the signal you send out to life. Feel wealth and life brings you wealth. Feel joy and life mirrors it. Feel love and love finds you. It is simple. It is constant. And it is entirely in your hands. The question is never, can it happen? The question is, are you willing to feel it now? Because once you are, the universe begins its response. Not because you begged, not because you forced it, but because you entered the state of already having and feeling, as always made it real. To act as if you already possess the energy, the confidence, and the magnetism to attract everything you desire is to claim dominion over your reality. It is not make-believe. It is not arrogance. It is alignment. You are not waiting to become the person who has it all. You are stepping into that version of yourself now by assuming its posture, its energy, its presence, and its knowing. The world does not respond to what you say you want. It responds to who you are being. And you are always being someone. You are always embodying a state of consciousness. The question is that state in harmony with your desire or in contradiction to it? When you act as if you already have the energy to attract everything, you shift your identity. You stop begging, hoping, or waiting, and you begin to declare through your behavior, your words, your thoughts, and your feelings that it is already done. This is not about faking confidence. This is not about performance. It is about becoming internally aligned with what you want, as though it's already part of your world. Think about the person you desire to be, the one who effortlessly draws in abundance, opportunities, love, connection, peace. That person does not doubt their worth. That person does not shrink. That person does not hesitate. That person walks with a quiet confidence, a stillness in their chest, a grounded presence that speaks before they say a word. When you decide to act as that version of yourself, you begin to collapse the distance between who you are and what you desire. It begins with the subtle, a change in posture, a shift in how you enter a room, a quiet pause before you speak, a gentle refusal to chase or explain or overcompensate. These are not small things. These are energetic declarations. They send signals into the unseen realm that you no longer identify as the version of yourself who is lacking, who is overlooked, who is not enough. You are becoming the one who already has. When you act as if you have the energy to attract everything, you are no longer asking for permission to shine. You no longer apologize for your presence. You stop deferring to the old story of not being ready, not being chosen, not being worthy. That story may have been familiar, but it was never true. The moment you act differently, feel differently, you begin writing a new chapter. This is not about pretending to be someone else. It's about returning to the truth of who you already are beneath the layers of fear, doubt, and conditioning. You are not manufacturing power, you are revealing it. The energy you seek to project is not something you must go out and collect. It is within you, waiting for you to unlock it through the simple decision to act from it now. It is not your circumstances that give you confidence. It is confidence that reshapes your circumstances. When you carry yourself as someone who knows their worth, you begin to change what you allow, what you tolerate, what you attract. People respond to your vibration. They sense when you are grounded in your truth, and they sense when you are seeking validation. One attracts, the other repels. You do not have to feel 100% ready to begin. Readiness is not a feeling, it is a choice. You begin by choosing to carry yourself with the certainty that your desires are already set in motion. You may still feel nervous. You may still hear the old voices of self-doubt. But you don't listen to them anymore. You recognize them as echoes of a former identity, and you walk past them as the version of yourself that already knows who you are. You become magnetic when you no longer chase. You become irresistible when you no longer try to prove. You become powerful when you stop looking outward for confirmation and begin to live from the inner knowing that it is already yours. This is what it means to act as if, not with effort, not with force, but with trust, with presence, with deliberate embodiment. You do not need to wait for the outside world to agree with your inner state. It will catch up. It must. That is the law. The inner creates the outer. So if you walk, talk, think, and live as the version of you who already has the energy to attract everything you desire, then that version of you begins to take root in this dimension. And with it, the circumstances, people, and experiences align with it. This is not delusion. This is creation. You are not pretending to be rich, successful, loved, or radiant. You are living in alignment with the feeling of already being those things. And by doing so, you become them. Not over time, not someday, but in this moment, right now, in your consciousness. And your outer world will echo it. When you act as if, you walk through life as someone who already knows their future is secure. You stop explaining your vision to those who cannot see it. You stop giving energy to doubt. You stop needing reassurance. Instead, you become the reassurance. You become the signal of clarity, of vision, of intention. And that energy is what makes mountains move. There is no force stronger than a soul who knows they are already in possession of what they seek. You are not trying to be that person. You are remembering that you already are. You are dropping the disguise of limitation. You are releasing the mask of insecurity. And you are reclaiming the posture of someone who understands that they were never without power to begin with. When you act as if, the universe responds. It listens not to your words but to your tone, not to your declarations, but to your state of being. And when that state of being says, that is already mine, then reality begins to conform itself to match your certainty. So do not wait to be chosen. Choose yourself. Do not wait to be ready. Move as if you already are. Do not wait for signs. Be the sign. The energy is not out there, it is in you. The world is not holding you back, it is waiting on your signal. And when that signal becomes the vibration of inner wholeness, everything that belongs to you begins its journey home. To believe in the presence of unseen forces working in your favor is to understand that reality is far more than what your senses can detect. The material world, the visible, is only the outer crust of something deeper, more fluid, more responsive. Everything begins in the invisible. Every form, every circumstance, every opportunity you encounter was once an idea, an image, a vibration. When you truly accept this, you stop worshipping appearances and start living from the unseen realm of imagination and feeling. You are not bound by what your eyes see or what others have told you is possible. Those are limitations of the senses, not of spirit. The secret is to live from the invisible reality as though it were already the only reality. When you move through the world, knowing that unseen energies are already arranging, assembling, coordinating everything on your behalf, you release the need to control. You relax into certainty, you step out of effort and into faith, not blind faith, but conscious creation. You know something greater is operating through you and for you. This unseen power is intelligent. It is not random. It responds to you, your dominant assumptions, your expectations, your emotional tone. You may not always see the results instantly, but that does not mean nothing is happening. Just as a seed beneath the soil appears inactive before the sprout breaks through the ground, so too does your inner world incubate what will become your outer experience. The delay is not denial. The silence is not absence. It is preparation. It is unfolding. And your job is to remain faithful to what you've declared, no matter what the world seems to say. So many people begin to assume something wonderful, then glance around at their environment and feel disappointed when nothing appears to change. They return to doubt. They begin to question. And in that moment, they undo the very thing they've begun. But when you act as if the energy of your desire is already working for you, you do not allow appearances to dictate your belief. You stay in the knowing. You assume the feeling. You rest in the confidence that what you cannot see is even more powerful than what you can. This is how the invisible becomes visible. Not by force, not by wishing, not by struggle, but by alignment. The invisible responds to the energy you emit. If you radiate doubt, fear, desperation, it will reflect back circumstances that match. If you emit trust, gratitude, confidence, and inner peace, it responds with harmony, synchronicities, and doors you didn't even know existed. You don't need to figure out how. That is not your role. The how belongs to the unseen. Your role is to live in the state of already having, to assume the frequency of fulfillment, to dwell in the vibration of what is done. Even when nothing appears to change, something is changing. Energy is shifting. Patterns are rearranging. Old beliefs are dissolving. People are being moved. Circumstances are being shaped, and it all happens in ways you could never predict. That is the beauty of trusting the unseen. You release the limits of logic and allow the infinite to surprise you. Living from this awareness requires a new kind of discipline, not discipline of effort, but discipline of assumption. You must train yourself to dwell in the invisible more than the visible, to feel the reality of your desires even when no evidence exists yet. That is true mastery. That is the path of the Creator, the one who walks by inner knowing, not by outer proof. This is not about ignoring the physical world, it is about understanding its place. The physical world is the echo, not the cause. It is the effect, not the source. And if you try to rearrange the echo without changing the cause, you stay stuck in the loop of repetition. But when you go to the source, to the unseen, and operate from there with authority and clarity, the echo naturally changes. You don't chase results, you change the signal, and the results follow. The unseen forces do not need time in the way you think they do. Time is a concept of the physical. In the realm of spirit, things move according to intensity, not duration. A single moment of true alignment, of deep feeling, of unshakable belief can accomplish more than years of hoping and struggling. When you truly feel it, truly believe it, truly embody it, the unseen begins to mirror you in ways beyond logic. And yet, to the mind that needs to see to believe, this can be difficult. But you are not here to live according to the mind alone. You are here to remember that you are more than a body, more than a name, more than a set of circumstances. You are consciousness. You are awareness itself. And your awareness shapes your world. When your awareness becomes saturated with the energy of trust, of inner havingness, of certainty, the outer world begins to reflect it in uncanny, undeniable ways. This is how miracles happen. Not because you pleaded for them, but because you aligned with the frequency of the miraculous. The unseen is not moved by desperation, it is moved by embodiment. It listens to the version of you who acts from the end, who walks through life as if everything is already aligned, who lets go of worry because they know everything is already handled. You are always supported, even when you feel alone, even when the world looks quiet, even when there is no visible sign. The current is moving beneath the surface. Do not doubt the process just because you can't yet see the result. Feel it, trust it, know it, and continue to act from the energy of fulfillment. The unseen is not a distant concept. It is not outside of you. It is your own awareness extending into the fabric of reality and drawing in everything that matches your inner state. So the real work is not on the outside. The real work is within. Not fixing yourself, but realizing that you are already whole. Not earning anything, but recognizing that it is already given. You simply match the gift through the frequency of receiving. And you do that by trusting the unseen more than the seen. The more you practice this, the more you'll witness the world begin to shape itself around your inner convictions. People will shift. Opportunities will arise. Paths will clear. You'll begin to say, I don't know how it happened, but everything just aligned. And that is the language of the unseen, effortless, precise, perfect. Not because you forced it, but because you remember that you didn't have to. What you desire is not far from you. It is not waiting in some future. It is present now in the unseen. And it is your willingness to believe, to embody, to act from the energy of presence that allows it to materialize. There is no distance between you and what you seek, except the story you tell. The moment you stop waiting and start knowing, the unseen responds in kind. And the moment you stop needing to see it first, it begins to appear. Most people move through life waiting for something to happen before they allow themselves to feel different. They wait for the money to appear before they feel abundant. They wait for love to arrive before they feel worthy. They wait for external recognition before they believe they are valuable. But this approach keeps them bound to the visible world, trapped in a loop of reacting to circumstances instead of creating them. To live as a conscious creator is to reverse that order completely. You feel it first and then it appears. You become it internally and then the world mirrors it. You assume the energy before the evidence. You are not waiting on the world. The world is waiting on you. It's waiting on your conviction, on your inner movement, on your decision to feel as if it's already done. The moment you stop waiting and begin embodying the end result in your mind, in your body, in your emotional field, the game changes. You are no longer asking, when will it happen? Instead, you move through life as if it already has. And that shift in energy is magnetic. It pulls the unseen toward you in ways the logical mind could never predict. To hold the energy of the result before it arrives is to walk in creative dominion. It is to act from the unseen, to trust in the invisible power that governs all manifestation. You are not pretending, you are aligning. There is a difference. Pretending is hollow. It comes from a place of lack, trying to cover emptiness with imagination. Alignment, however, is true inner knowing. It is the quiet certainty that you are already what you desire to be and the world is simply catching up to your inner state. Most people think they need evidence to believe. But belief does not require proof. Belief is the proof. It is the unseen force that bends reality to match its tone. When you choose to feel what you would feel if the thing were already yours, you're not tricking the universe. You're aligning with it, you're stepping into the only place where change is real, the now. Not tomorrow, not someday, now. Because now is where your power lies. And when you fill this moment with the feeling of fulfillment, the world responds. What you feel dominantly, you attract. Not because the world is punishing or rewarding, but because it is reflective. It cannot give you what you don't first give yourself in feeling. It does not discriminate, it only reflects. So if you walk around feeling like it's already done, acting from that energy, thinking from that end, speaking from that, knowing, the world begins to shape itself to match that frequency. And the more you live in that state, the less you seek confirmation, because your confirmation becomes internal. You are not waiting for a breakthrough, you are the breakthrough. You are the shift. And that shift begins the moment you decide to embody the state of the person who already has it. Not someday. Now, if you were already who you wanted to be, how would you walk? How would you speak? What would you allow? What would you release? How would your posture change? How would your conversations shift? Start living from those answers now, not as performance, but as permission. You are not waiting for life to validate you, you are validating yourself through the energy you hold. This is not about faking anything. It's about waking up to the truth that you are already enough to feel what you want to feel. You don't need to delay your joy, your confidence, your sense of power. You can tap into it right now, because those states are not given to you by life, they are expressed through you to life. You are the source. You are the origin. And when you stop needing reality to change first, reality begins to change fast. People often ask, how can I feel wealthy when I have no money? Or how can I feel loved when I'm alone? The answer is simple but profound. You must feel from the end, not toward the end. You must bypass the mind that measures and compares and calculates, and instead go straight to the emotional truth of the outcome. Money doesn't bring the feeling of abundance. Abundance brings the money. Love doesn't create worthiness. Worthiness attracts the love. Everything you desire is already available in the form of a state. And the moment you move into that state, you begin to draw matching experiences into your world. You cannot fool the energetic mirror of life. If you say one thing but feel another, life reflects what you feel. If you affirm success but walk around expecting failure, life responds to your expectation, not your words. The energy you emit is the prayer that is always heard. And when you decide to live in the frequency of the wish fulfilled, without needing to seek proof, you accelerate the arrival of everything you've imagined. You may not know how things will unfold. You may not see the path. But when you live from the end, you don't need to. The version of you who has already received doesn't ask for a blueprint. They move with the confidence that all is well, that all is happening, that the way is being made even if they don't yet see it. And in that surrender, in that faith, in that embodiment, doors open. Conversations align. People show up. Resources appear. Life begins to echo your internal song. This is not about controlling outcomes. It's about assuming the identity that naturally experiences those outcomes. When you become the person who already has, you don't chase, you attract. You don't beg, you command through your being. You don't wish, you know. And that knowing, even in the absence of evidence, is the most powerful force you can hold. Because everything in this universe is moved not by effort, but by vibration. So if you want to receive, be the receiver. Feel the receiving. Live in the receiving. Act as if you are already in possession. The person who has it doesn't question it, doesn't analyze it, doesn't doubt it. They live from it. And when you begin to do the same, not just occasionally, but consistently, you tap into a current that pulls all things to you with ease. Your energy is your access. Your state is your signal. And when that signal is consistent with the result you desire, the result cannot help but appear. Not by magic, but by law. The law of reflection. The law of vibration. The law of assumption. And this is not theoretical. It is practical. Test it, live it, feel it, and watch as the world moment by moment begins to rearrange itself to mirror your internal certainty. There is no power greater than the one who already is, not becoming, not hoping, already is. And you get there not by striving but by feeling, not by effort but by identity. So assume the feeling, wear the energy, breathe from the outcome, walk from the end, and let the world catch up to your decision.